Every haunted place has a story with a dark past. This is Ghost Encounters Podcast. Welcome back, all you spooky people, to the Ghost Encounters Podcast. I am paranormal investigator Justin Torok.
And I'm Jordan, the group scientist.
My name's Hannah, and I am checking podcast host off my millennial bingo card.
That's such a good intro.
It is. All right, so this is a kind of like a part 2 episode because there are so many of these things. This is season 3, episode 3, and this is Haunted Dolls 2. We only got through a couple Haunted Dolls on that previous Haunted Dolls podcast episode in season 2, and there's just so many other Haunted Dolls, and even after this episode, there's still more we haven't covered. We still have a list of more Haunted Dolls.
Oh my god.
Ones that I'm sure you know and have heard of. So I'm sure there's going to be a Haunted Dolls 3, so we're going to cover some more today. So these dolls, they seem to have a life of their own. Moving on their own, their eyes following you as you move around the room. They seem to have a malevolent presence, as if they're waiting for the right moment to strike. Their once fixed expressions now seem to change, showing a range of emotions from anger to sadness, as if they're channeling the spirits of the dead. These haunted dolls spread fear and terror wherever they go. They're a reminder that even the most innocent things can be twisted into something dark and sinister.
Dum, dum,
Here we
dum.
go. Getting right into it.
Jordan, I'm so excited for your research because last time I liked this doll. We did talk about Robert the doll.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to hear about this. I was going to claim it, but you had just watched an awesome documentary.
I did.
So I can't wait to hear all about it. Let's get into Robert the doll.
So I watched a documentary. It was a shock doc on Discovery Plus. Well,
Ooh.
I'm assuming it used to be on the Travel Channel. Whatever. I don't have cable. And
Who does anymore?
Yeah,
I don't
for-
think
for
anybody has
real.
cable.
but it was such a good documentary, and I know that Robert the doll is one of the most haunted dolls like
Mhm.
on the freaking planet, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to use him in the last episode because I kind of wanted to do something different. But I had a couple people say like, "Why the hell didn't you talk about Robert the doll?" Because everybody
That's so
knows
funny.
all about him.
Yeah.
So apparently Robert causes misfortune, injury, and even death. There are a bunch of stories that I'll explain later where like crazy shit happens to these poor unfortunate people, but it's kind of their fault. You'll see why.
I'm ready.
And like apparently if you disrespect him and don't follow his quote unquote rules,
Yes.
like literally he haunts the shit out of you or like causes like people around you to die.
Oh my
Pets
god.
to die and stuff like that. But before we get to that, let's start from the beginning. In the early 1900s in Key West, Florida, a young boy named Robert Eugene Otto was given a one-of-a-kind handmade doll by a servant that worked for his parents in his home. The doll was stuffed with straw and hand-sewn. It was like just like a cloth doll. In my opinion, I don't want to say this, but I will. It's kind of like ugly. Like it looks
Yeah,
kind of
it's-
like an orangutan. Like I had an orangutan doll with like really long arms and everything. It was kind of scary growing up, but I loved it, and it kind of reminds me of
Yeah,
my
the face is not very...
human life.
Yeah, it's not.
He looks like it looks like his mouth is open kind of.
Yeah.
And it looks like maybe the stitch had been tighter, but as
Maybe,
he kind
probably
of
over time.
aged, he like maybe it loosened in his
Yeah.
Yeah.
mouth.
And the nose is not very
Yeah.
nose-like.
I don't know.
I think apparently, like, from what I got from all the research, that this was, like, not a very popular type of doll at the time. Because the company, it's a German-made doll, so the company that made it actually made the teddy bear, like, invented the teddy
Oh,
bear.
wow. Okay.
So this must have been, like, their next turn to be like, okay, here's this,
Yeah.
like, kid
Oh,
doll.
so now I can kind of see the face on how they went from teddy bear to trying to make a
Yeah.
boy-looking doll.
Human
Yeah.
person.
So, because now that I'm thinking about him, I can kind of see like the bear-esque features.
Yeah,
of his
like
face.
it's not like
It's
yeah,
very
like you can tell
round.
they're trying to make it human, but like they're working on it. As
They're
they
working
go.
off a bear template to try to make it
yeah,
human.
yeah.
Yeah, he's got the little shoe button eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was also considered big for a doll, standing at 3 feet tall. I didn't know
Yeah.
he was that big.
Oh, yeah, he's big.
Like 40
Mhm.
inches or whatever they say. He quickly became attached. He, as in Gene, became quickly attached to his new friend and even decided to give the doll his very own name.
Hold on. this happened before. In the last Haunted Dolls episode, we talked about Okiku.
Oh,
and the girl got way too attached to the doll and gave that doll her own name too.
I forgot
and now
about
that little girl haunts that doll.
I forgot about that.
How weird is that?
That is so weird.
Strange connection.
Good job in connecting that, because my mind didn't go there at all.
I don't know if it's necessarily a strange connection or just like that's the rules. Both like either of a narrative, like as somebody who's trying to like invent a haunted doll story, or like that's just how you make a haunted doll. Like if it's, you know, transferring your soul somehow, or if it's just the metaphysical way to make it work.
Right, the metaphysical way of attaching your soul to this object.
Yeah.
Like giving it your own name, personality, maybe even, you know.
Well, that's like Fae rules, isn't it?
It's-
Like you don't tell the fairies your name, because otherwise they fuck your shit up.
It's strange because I honestly don't know any, unless you all do, I don't know, but I don't know any child that has given a doll their own name.
I've
only
never
heard it from these stories.
Yeah. So there's some variations to this story. Some say that the doll was given to him by his parents instead of the servant. And his grandfather when he came back from a trip from Germany. There's different.
Maybe he got it right. Okay.
Yeah, so either way, he was gifted this doll on like his 5th birthday.
Yeah.
Regardless, as time went on, the doll's name was Robert now, which, as I said, his name is Robert.
Yeah.
The little boy's name is Robert. So the little boy was like, no, Mom, I'm Gene. I gave Robert my name. So then weird. The family had to start calling him Gene, like off of Eugene, his middle name. So it was like crazy. Like he straight up was like, you can't call me Robert. Like that, this is Robert. Like, Robert and treated him like his like sibling, his best friend.
That's
and everything
crazy.
Like that. Which, isn't it like apparently a thing like that if you give like some sort of evil entities like a name that they're like stronger? Is that a thing?
Kind of what happened with Annabelle.
Okay.
You know?
Because I put a note in my
notes
to ask.
They didn't give her that name. It said that's what its name was, but it kind of will give it more strength by giving it some kind of identity.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
The acknowledgement of it as a person.
Yeah.
You know.
And Gene apparently dressed the doll in his own clothes, which is what he has on today, that sailor's outfit.
Yeah.
Apparently, like a bunch of people theorized that was actually Gene's.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
If he's going to give it his own name.
If you think about it, if you're 5 and you get like, a 3 feet tall doll.
It's as big as you.
It's the same size if you're lucky. Like I know my teddy bear, I gave my old like pajama shirt to him because I'm like, I don't want to throw out my pajama shirt. I love that pajama shirt, so I give it to my friend. Yeah. My teddy bear. Because my teddy bear is fucking huge. He's seen it. Like, obviously my teddy bear still sleeps with me because I need a little bit of extra protection. He like sits in the middle and like Jeff will be like, what is wrong with you? Why do you still have a teddy bear? I'm like, he's just my friend. I just love him.
Live your life.
I don't want to get rid
What's
of him.
his name?
It's just Teddy.
Teddy, there you go.
Yep.
See, that makes sense. A lot of teddy bears are Teddy or Bear, Mr. Bear.
And like, it's like my pets know that Teddy is like off limits. Like my dogs can devour toys.
Yeah, but they won't.
And they will not even sniff that Teddy.
Yeah.
He's mine.
It smells like you. They know it's yours.
But like I'm not like obsessed with it. Like I don't take it to dinner. Like I'm getting to it. But like Robert the doll sat at dinner with this family.
Oh my God.
And like weird shit. Like would go to the bathroom with Gene when he would like bathe, and the doll would sit in there with him. Like he brought
literally
this doll
with him 24/7.
everywhere. Yeah, he brought this doll everywhere. Yeah. The house that Gene and his family lived in was a beautiful house located on 534 Eaton Street and was built in the 1890s, which is now known as the Artist's House. It's really pretty. Like it has like this really cool balcony and everything like that.
I'm a sucker for a balcony.
Yeah, it's really, really pretty. So like you can tell it's in Florida.
Yeah.
It's nice and white and beachy looking, palm trees right out in front of it. Now this is where all the weird stuff begins. Gene's parents would hear him and Robert conversating in the boys' upstairs bedroom. Initially, they thought Gene was doing both of the voices, but after listening closely, they became convinced that it was actually 2 different voices. And different sources vary. Like, they say that it kind of sounds like a young boy's voice, and other people say it's like a deep, menacing voice.
No.
That's Robert. Yeah. So apparently, like, the mom would go in and be like, hey, who are you talking to? And he'd be like, Robert. And he would be like, what the fuck? What do you mean? But... Yeah, so periodically his parents heard Gene screaming and heard fiendish laughter and would rush upstairs to find him cowering in a corner with furniture overturned and all of his other toys scattered throughout the room. I found a specific story off of one of my resources that says, and I quote, "One night when Jean, who was only 10 years old, awoke to find Robert the doll sitting at the end of his bed staring at him.
Nope.
Moments later, his mother was awakened by his screams for help and the sounds of furniture being overturned in her son's bedroom.
Nope.
Jean cried for help, begging his mother to come rescue him. When she was finally able to wrench open the locked door, she saw poor Jean curled up in fear in his bed, in his bedroom in shambles, and Robert the doll was sitting at the foot of the bed." So, like, this, in other stories and other resources that I saw, they had, like, he would be sitting, like, upright in his bed when she would walk in with, like, the covers all around him. And, like, Robert would be sitting over, like, on the side, like, in a chair or something. But, like, all the shit was
either way,
everywhere.
The sources say the same thing.
Yeah.
Robert the doll was just casually sitting somewhere while the sun was cowering and the room was a fucking mess.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like, this happened at this time period, but then as we go on, you'll see that it's just something that happens when Robert's around other people.
Oh my god.
And, like, the story's documented, and it's not like there were scary movies or something for this kid to have watched back then.
Yeah,
you know?
no,
like,
yeah.
for a child to make up some kind of other devilish voice or something like that, like, there weren't any really stories like that or things to watch or see or read for a child. So, like,
yeah,
there wasn't necessarily a precedent like there is at this point.
Correct.
Yeah.
like something to fill, like, kids will be kids. You can't say that to this kid, unfortunately, in this situation, because they didn't have as, like, much environmental issues that, like, we could say, like, oh, we watched The Exorcist 200 times and blah, 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 like, oh, yeah, demonic possession. You know, like, there's all that in pop culture now, where back then they were probably like, the church, you know, like, go to church.
Yeah, that's all
the
they
devil.
had.
You know, like, they didn't really have movies or plays like that. Now, this is the shit that freaks me out about Robert. And, like, throughout all of everything that I read and heard, this freaking quote, I hate it. Whenever these events would happen to Jean always responded, "Robert did it." For some reason, that just icks me, like, to the core. Like, I just am like, oh my god. Because, as I've said on multiple podcast episodes, kids freak me the fuck out.
Yeah.
So if I had, like, a baby cousin or something, like, if Jack looked at me and was like, "Robert did it," I would shit my pants. Like, straight up, I would shit my pants. But anyway, things would be, like, found broken, like vases, like, stuff from the kitchen and whatever, and Jean would always say that Robert did it. Despite Jean being scared of Robert, sometimes he still adored Robert. Like I said, he would sit at the dinner table, watch Jean bathe, and the boy would tuck Robert into bed with him at night. As time went on, these paranormal events became a little bit more disturbing. Silverware would be thrown around in the dining room and in the kitchen. Servants would be locked in a room while cleaning, and some of Jean's favorite toys would be found mutilated. Like, heads cut off, arms cut off.
So, like, Robert was jealous.
Robert wanted to be the only doll.
Yeah.
Neighbors started reporting seeing Robert in the attic window, rocking in a chair and yelling threats at them. There's eyewitness, in that documentary, there are eyewitness people that are like, we used to walk on a different route home from school because we avoided the Otto's house. Because we would see Robert scowling at us.
That's crazy.
And then he would follow to different windows. And how can a person do that? How can a doll do that? You can't move that fast. So, like, these people were, like, adamant, like, this shit happened to me, which scared the piss out of me. So people, as I said, neighbors, servants, family, started reporting seeing the doll speak and witness his expressions change, heard giggling, and had sightings of Robert running up the steps or staring out the upstairs windows. If I saw a fucking doll sprint up the steps, I would be living on the beach at that point.
Fucking
like, I would,
Chucky shit.
I would
Like,
not
What
be
is
able
that?
to.
Yeah, what does that even look
It's
like?
funny that you say Chucky, because we're going to get to that too.
It's like weird, boneless Kermit the Frog motions.
Yeah, like, they did a really good, like, reenactment of it on that shock doc.
Yeah.
Like, Robert the Doll, Curse of Robert the Doll episode. Because, like, the servant was cleaning dishes and everything, the reenactment. And then, like, he hears something, so he goes out. And he sees Robert, he runs up the steps quick, and then he turns around and looks back. And I'm like, oh, shit! And he drops the plate and everything. But that's, like, that's how I would react. I would be scared shitless if I saw a doll moving in general.
Yeah.
Even its head tilt, I would freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
There are even more reports of weird things happening even when the Otto family wasn't home. So, like, they would go out as, like, a family outing, probably to boardwalk or something like that, and the servants would be at home and they would still hear the giggling,
right.
him running around in the attic and the upstairs rooms, blah, blah, blah.
I guess that debunks it just being Jean then. It's like,
Yeah, so
even
basically
when he's not around.
they started believing that it can't be Jean playing tricks because when Jean's not around, Robert's still acting up and doing weird shit, you know? Like, you can't say kids will be kids. Like I said earlier, it's eventually, holy shit, there's something wrong with this fucking doll.
It's a problem.
So, a side note I have is that in the one source, it states that the family reached out to their extended family for help, and one of Jean's great aunts came and tried to plead her case that the doll was cursed and there was a spirit attached to it. And basically they had to get rid of the doll and get the doll away from Jean to save him because they thought the doll was going to just take his soul, whatever. Because they were probably hella religious and were scared shitless, which is fine. They took the doll away from Jean and placed it in the attic. They actually locked him up.
Wow.
They hoped that the occurrences would stop, but unfortunately the aunt died the following night.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Yeah. So she was an older woman, and the doctors just said that she had a stroke in her sleep and everything like that. But the Otto family believed that Robert was to blame.
Yeah. So this lady comes in and is like, hey, the doll's cursed. Get rid of it. And the doll's like, fuck you, lady.
Yeah.
I think not.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just one sort. I heard about it, and I just wanted to add that in. Who knows? This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Could be a bunch of bullshit, but just had to put it in there.
I wonder if he zapped her with his evil juju, or if he did the doll in Poltergeist and wrapped his noodly arms around. I don't know why I have the Kermit Frog noodle arm vision.
Yeah, you're really
in my
into
head,
the
but...
noodle arm thing right now. Eventually, Jean grew up and traveled to learn more about art. I heard that he tried to study architecture as well, and later was married to a decently famous pianist named Anne Parker. I think her name was Annette. I don't know, some long thing, but we're gonna call her Anne. When his parents died, Jean and Anne moved back into the family home in Florida.
Great.
Robert was there waiting for him.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Needless to say, the marriage did not go so well. He insisted that the doll still dine with them and sit in a chair beside their bed. Robert accompanied the couple everywhere he went, including vacations.
Yeah, that would definitely cause some turmoil in a relationship if your husband is like, hey, this doll's my best friend, it's going to do everything with us.
I want Robert to watch.
Oh, God.
And Hannah made it sexual.
Oh,
House dude!
I mean, if he's sitting in a chair while they're in
Yeah,
bed.
man!
I have a feeling that they didn't even do that because of Robert.
Yeah,
to be honest.
they didn't even
get
would
there.
just kill the mood.
Yeah.
It would kill the mood for me, personally.
Jean decided that the doll needed a room of his own and placed him in the upstairs room that had a window overlooking the street. Anne felt uneasy with Robert in the house, and she couldn't really figure out why she felt that way, especially because she swore it was just a doll. She wanted Jean to lock the doll up in the attic where he could do no harm.
So Robert's going back in the attic.
Yep. Yes, he is. Unfortunately, it doesn't really go that well. So Jean agreed. Gotta make your wife happy. Warning that it wouldn't be a good idea, and he was right because Robert the doll was not happy. Soon visitors would hear footsteps. So they would have family dinners or friends over for just cocktail hour or whatever, and they would literally hear him running around upstairs.
Wow.
And you can't look at them and go, oh, it's a dog, it's a cat.
Right.
No, it's a fucking crazy ass doll up there running around.
And they didn't have any kids, did they?
No.
Yeah.
They would also hear, visitors would hear devilish giggling. I hate that they keep saying that.
Yeah, he's giggling a lot, which is just fucking creepy.
I don't want to ever hear that in a house alone because I will flip out. I will be out. I will sell my house. I will live in a tent. I will never go back into my house if I hear giggling in my house.
Hannah, when you were on the investigation with me at the Perry Mansion,
I was gonna say,
which you can watch the episode on YouTube, the Perry Mansion episode, there was a room that everyone says is haunted by children, and we got down to their level. We're sitting on the floor. We had the spirit orbs, the motion sensor balls out around the floor.
The cat balls.
Whatever you want to call them.
I love when people call them cat balls.
And we were trying to get them to interact with us and move the balls to play. As soon as one of them lit up, something touched it, there was giggling EVPs, laughter.
Child's laughter.
Yeah, so it was pretty creepy.
Cool, yeah.
Hell no. I'm not going to no ghost kid room. That's my biggest fear right now. Okay, while I was doing some research, I read that Anne was actually locked in a closet all night like after they locked the doll away,
Right.
that apparently like she was like going downstairs because she heard stuff, and that basically she went to check if Robert, because Robert could move, so naturally she's shitting her pants. She wants to make sure he's not in this closet,
Right.
but she gets pushed in the closet and the door's locked all night.
Yeah,
So
he's
she's stuck.
He's like, you're gonna lock me up, bitch. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna lock you up right back. Yeah.
Enough.
Also, neighborhood children reported seeing Robert watching them from the window in the upstairs bedroom, and told accounts of the doll actually mocking them as they walked to school.
That's pretty funny. So again, like people are seeing Robert from the street, looking out the windows and shit like that, and moving around.
Yeah, like
Kermit arms.
Not the Kermit arms again. But apparently Robert really enjoyed to look out the window up at like because it's really cool. It's like this cool shape upstairs room. It's almost like an octagon, like hexagon shape.
Yeah.
So like the windows are on each side of that shape. So it, like, I would enjoy that because I would like to see out of every single angle. So like apparently he would just stand there, and it's like creepy to think that like at night probably see his outline.
Probably. Yeah, just staring.
Yeah, my mind goes there. This is so creepy. But when Gene heard this, he immediately went to investigate, knowing that they had locked Robert in the attic, and there was no way that he would be sitting by the window of the upstairs bedroom. But to his complete shock, when he opened the door of the bedroom, there was Robert sitting in the rocking chair right by the window.
Yeah, not in the attic where they left
Not
him.
in the attic. So Gene locked Robert back up in the attic several times, each time discovering him again sitting at his window in the same upstairs bedroom. Due to the odd behavior of always needing Robert around and the unexplained traumatic shit that happened with it, the marriage failed.
Yeah.
His wife ended up in an insane asylum where she died of pancreatic cancer.
Oh my god, so she literally, like, went crazy.
Yeah, like
because of this doll.
Some sources say that she just died of cancer. Some sources say both. Some sources say that it was, she went fucking nuts. So regardless, she died of, like, the worst cancer as well.
In the worst place as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor girl.
Yeah,
she just wanted to have a happy life, playing her piano.
Yeah, and she left that lifestyle. Like, she gave up
Yeah.
that lifestyle to go get married, to be with Gene and everything like that.
And her life went to shit.
Yeah, because
of
like
Robert.
when they moved to Florida, I should have added this, apparently that like his art career flourished, and he was able to help out with architect and like building the museum that Robert is going to be put in.
No way. That's cool.
And the museum actually had his artwork in there, and then Robert
full circle
became a part of the museum. So yeah,
that's crazy.
It's insane.
Do they still have his artwork?
Yeah. Gene Otto died in 1974 of Parkinson's disease. So basically he spent the last bit of his life like basically deteriorating alongside Robert. And when a new owner moved into the house on Eaton Street, their 10-year-old daughter was delighted to find Robert the doll in the attic.
Fuck that.
But her delight soon ended when she claimed that Robert was alive and that the doll wanted to hurt her.
Oh.
So we have two different kids. The kid does not know the story of this house. There's no way she could have known the story of the house.
They probably didn't say much about it because they didn't want to be.
And it's not
loony,
like this doll was on the news or anything like that back in the day then. And so there's no way of her knowing this, and all of a sudden now this little girl is terrified of this doll.
Yeah, in the same way that it started with Jean.
Yeah.
She awoke often in the middle of the night screaming in fear and told her parents that Robert had moved around in her room. The parents said once they woke up to find Robert at the foot of their bed holding a butcher knife. It was this act that was responsible for using Robert as the inspiration for Chucky, which you ironically brought up.
The notorious killer doll, yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god.
The serial killer
That's
doll
crazy.
in the horror movie Child's Play. Yep. So there's also a legend, since we don't know for sure, that the new owners, when they moved into the house, the father apparently locked away this doll because it tried to attack his daughter, and later he was found dead of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh, man.
Could this be an accident? Or was it actually the curse of Robert the doll?
That's weird, because, like, if there is a gas leak, usually the whole family is going to be affected.
Well, apparently he was, like, not in the house. Apparently it was, like, right outside the house. Like...
In open air or, like, in the garage?
Apparently it was out. Like, apparently he was out front, because I don't think it has a garage. And that, like, the way that they explained it in this documentary is that it kind of, like, reversed back in somehow into his car, and the wife opened the door and found him dead.
The hell?
Yeah.
Reversed back.
Yeah,
was
like
he
somehow.
in his car?
Yeah,
or?
he was in the car by himself. The
so,
family
like,
wasn't in
there
it.
are ways, there's people that commit suicide by connecting a hose to the exhaust and putting it in the freaking car.
Yeah.
But if that's not there, then that's not how that happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
To be honest, I don't know for sure.
So
this is just a
weird.
legend that they talk about,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to add it in. But they made it seem that it was a suicide or like an accident. They didn't know how it happened or why he would have done it. So the family was immediately like, it's fucking Robert, this crazy ass doll that's in the house that we just moved into. So the widow strangely keeps Robert the doll even after moving out of the house, because she had to sell the house because when her husband died, the house was just too much, too big, expensive for her to handle by herself. So in 1994, she was attacked, apparently locked into like a room, just like how Anne was. Yeah. And that was basically the last straw for her, and she donated him to a museum where he can be found today. Weirdly, after she donated him to the museum, she died 101 days after that. Odd things happened when Robert was put in the museum, like pipes went bad and there was weird electrical stuff, and a plumber apparently was like scared out of there. Like he was working on the plumbing and Robert like was right behind him.
Shit.
Yeah, I would have burst the pipes all over again if I turned around and saw Robert. Something I wanted to add was that someone tried to get Robert tattooed on them and apparently died. I was like, oh my God, like, why would you even attempt it? Like, after hearing it, like, you go visit him at the museum and then you're just like, yeah, I want to get a badass tattoo of Robert the doll. And, like, even though there's rules, okay, it's pretty fucking scary. I just wanted to add in some, not like background, but what people think and why he is the way he is, or how he could have became that way. Many believe that his evil lies in the one that originally gave him to Jean, the servant, quote unquote. I don't like to call them servants. Her name was actually Emmeline. Apparently she was like a medical like person that was like there to help with Jean if she needed like a nanny, but not exactly a nanny.
Yeah. Like an in-house kind of nurse.
Yeah, kind of. Like they had a weird word for her, but they basically said like if Jean needed something, like she was always the one that was going to be there for said kid, you know?
Yeah, I mean back then you didn't really have like great hospitals and stuff. If you're that rich, you didn't have an in-house person.
Yeah. And it was also like back in the day it was common to have like staff.
Yeah.
Just hanging out in your house. And
apparently they had a lot of staff too. Like they had a decent amount of
like I mean, they were rich, so.
Yeah. So this woman apparently was mistreated by them, and punishing them, it's believed that she cursed the doll with like voodoo, black magic, whatever. One source said that Thomas Otto had an affair with her, and supposedly her daughter died while Robert was in the room. Like, and the daughter apparently is their kid.
Oh, shit.
Because there's psychics and stuff that come in and say that they see like a light-skinned, like African-American kid associated with Robert. And like stuff like that. So that's one of the rumors and one of the theories. Apparently Emmeline liked to perform some sort of rituals with the kids, like in the backyard, and the mom found out about it. Minnie found out about it, was kind of like, the hell are you doing? Get the hell out of my house. And then Emmeline came back and tried to make it up to her and said, I have a doll for your son.
Oh, who knows what the hell she did to it.
She wanted her job back, and Minnie was kind of like, no, you're not a good influence on my kid, and that's how the curse started. Some people say that. And like I said, this is just a rumor, so I don't want anybody to think that
these are rumors, it's not
I'm
confirmed,
saying that this is the reason,
Salt.
It is claimed that Robert is haunted by more than one entity and like many spirits. Psychics, mediums, whatever, they refer to Robert the doll as a portal, saying that saying whatever spell or curse that was put on the doll causes the spirits to become attached to it.
So not just one, it's multiple.
Yeah.
It's an interesting theory.
Yeah, I just wanted to add it because you don't really hear that often, because with dolls you hear of like the one that gave its name, like Okiku was a part of the doll, became a part of the doll. Like there's more of like an emotional, like a connection with one said person or one said malevolent entity, and this is more like I don't know. I just thought that was weird. Robert the doll continues to taunt and scare those who come to view him, especially guests at the museum who attempt to take photos without asking. Many have reported their cameras becoming inoperable, like batteries dying. showing a blurry black image when they tried to take a picture of him, only for it to begin working again when they left the museum.
Right.
There's a couple different, like in that shock documentary, these people, they actually find the people that wrote letters, because I'm going to talk about it, but people go in there and act like assholes and idiots, and then
Robert doesn't like
bad things happen to them, and then they write letters into the museum for Robert, saying, "Dear Robert, I'm sorry that I did this," and blah, 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 blah.
I was an asshole to
Yeah.
you, Robert.
Yeah, and they have them at the museum.
That's crazy.
Along with his rules. There's some people that say that they went to Florida on a vacation, took pictures at the museum with Robert, and then they lost all of their memory cards and all their film and all their stuff like that. So it was like wiped clean. Like he didn't want anybody to have anything happy.
Yeah.
And that's what happens if he doesn't grant his permission to be photographed.
Yeah, but also it can get darker than that. Like I said, like injuries, death, freaking disease, and like somebody was losing their animals. Like a bunch of their animals died. Extended family died. So like because they just saw Robert and all of this bad shit and misfortune happened afterwards.
Days later.
Yeah, they were like, okay, well the only outlier here is that I was an asshole to Robert. And then they beg for him to forgive them later.
Does he typically? Like,
in the documentary I saw in some of the sources, they say that, you know, they asked for forgiveness and then it kind of like eased up. You know, it wasn't like the end of the world like it was like days before. So I'm assuming, yeah, he does forgive them.
Look, man, if Robert the doll tried to ice my dog, like,
I'd be so upset.
Dude, I would go down there and I would burn that museum to the ground. Like, I would burn Robert the doll as revenge. Would I be setting the spirits free? Would it be like burning a Ouija board, especially if he's some type of portal? Probably. Would I end up fucking myself? Probably.
I don't understand why they didn't, like, I don't know, maybe like put him in a case and just kick him over the side. And, you know, let's like sink. Like maybe they were just too scared to do that.
If you don't want to burn the conduit of,
I mean, Robert, I would never do that to you, Robert.
Robert, if you can somehow hear this,
dude, I'm just out here being an asshole to Robert.
I don't want to have dreams about Robert.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Robert the doll sits inside a glass case in the East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. Staff members and visitors have reported seeing Robert's facial expressions change, again with the demonic giggling, and handprints on the glass.
From the inside.
Ew.
He has a glass around him, keeping him in, because apparently he would go missing in the museum and they would see footprints of him leaving his spot
That's so
in the
creepy.
museum.
I love it.
Yeah. So like I said, throughout this whole long spiel of me talking about Robert the doll, he has rules next to his glass case. Rule number 1, say hello and introduce yourself. Rule number 2, always be polite. Rule number 3, when you leave, you have to say goodbye. And rule number 4, ask permission to take his picture. People forget one of these rules, and it bites them in the ass later.
Rule number 5, don't get Robert tattooed upon your person.
Exactly. People have learned to regret this, like I said, not following the rules, since they write letters of forgiveness to Robert, and apparently the museum staff take that really seriously. They read the letters to Robert.
Wow.
They make sure Robert knows that people are asking for forgiveness, which is awesome, because some people would probably be like, these people are fucking nuts. Like,
right, no.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
These all go right into the shredder.
And by the bad things that happen to them, we're talking about fires, floods, misfortune, like I said, car accidents. That's a big one that I missed.
Wow.
Like, people would leave after being a dick and get in a car accident in Florida on vacation. Yeah.
That's
Financial issues. Some people lost their businesses. Some people's boats sank.
Jeez.
Stuff like that. Illnesses, deaths of pets, like I said, and family members have been reported. And like I said, Shock Doc, The Curse of Robert the Doll, tells those personal stories. Like, these people have come to talk and warn people, like, don't be an idiot like me. Don't do stupid shit.
Right.
What about podcasters who are assholes to Robert the doll?
I have not heard anything. I have no idea.
He's
not here. Hopefully
we're safe.
As long as somehow this podcast does not get played near Robert, I think we're okay.
Robert's like, these fucking dicks. I'm going after all of them.
Fucking.
But yeah, if anybody wants to know all of the resources, because I used a quite fuck ton, to be honest.
Yeah.
I use podcasts, internet, whatever. If anybody wants to know any of that shit because you're super interested in more about the doll, send me an email. I'll tell you all of them.
Yeah.
Robert,
or message us on social. We'll tell you where we got them.
Yeah. Robert, if you're listening, Jordan's a fan.
We love you.
Yes.
We love you so much.
We're telling your story to be polite.
Sorry, that was a really long one.
No, I mean,
No, that was good.
it's such an iconic haunted doll to talk
Yeah.
about, so I was really excited, and you did a fantastic job presenting all the research and doing the whole story.
How am I going to mesh all of this into 3 pages for me to use to read and talk about? Because there's just so much.
There is.
He's so popular.
He's very popular, very
and
iconic.
scary as shit.
So when are we going to Florida?
Never.
Dude.
Never going to Key West. Sorry.
I'm gonna have to be muzzled. Because it's just gonna
Yeah.
be like my knee-jerk reaction is to just be an asshole, and I didn't think I was gonna be that bitch, but I'm that bitch.
Well,
we're doomed.
if we go there, just
Shut the fuck up.
I'm not going and standing with you.
Follow
I don't need Robert to come after me because you're being a
we
dick.
don't know her.
She doesn't even go here.
She is not one of my friends right
not
now.
with us.
She's my friend outside on the street,
She's not with
in
us.
this
It
museum.
needs to be like you're wearing matching Ghost Encounter shirts. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm not stupid.
Yeah, I feel like Robert's pretty intelligent. Def knows.
Yeah.
Def would know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
All right, well, on that note, let's take a little break, and when we get back, we have some more haunted dolls.
Let's get it.
This episode is brought to you by The Colony Meadery. If you haven't tried mead yet, it's alcohol made for money, it's all natural, totally gluten-free, and delicious. Colony Meadery is one of the best meaderies in the world, and it's located in Pennsylvania's Lehigh Valley. Stop in and try a flight of meads, grab some bottles or cans to go, and experience some of the best booze in the world. They have flavors ranging from tart and quaffable lemon laws and Wu-Tang Crayon to sweet cinnamon vanilla series of tubes, and even sweet heat with their mango habanero. Learn more at colonymeadery.com. Speaking of mead, Ghost Encounters and Colony Meadery did a collab, and we came out with a caramel apple mead called Spooky to the Core. It's scary how delicious this mead is. Grab some today and haunt your taste buds. Ghost Encounters is sponsored by Phoenix Fire Media. Elevate your business with their digital marketing strategies, including their multi-award-winning social media marketing, photography, and video production. Phoenix Fire Media, igniting success through creative excellence. Visit phoenixfiremedia.com. If you're enjoying the Ghost Encounters podcast, hit subscribe and give us 5 stars. To watch full episodes of the Ghost Encounter show, visit ghost-encounters.com. And don't forget, when you're on our website, click on the Spooky Shop for all your Ghost Encounter spooky swag. To stay up to date with Ghost Encounters, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Ghost Encounters PA. To send spooky fan stories, email GhostEncountersStories@gmail.com or message us on social. Do you want ad-free episodes of Ghost Encounters podcast, plus bonus episodes, extra content, and much more? Then you should head to Patreon and be a spooky VIP. Go to patreon.com/Ghost Encounters podcast and be haunted from all the benefits with the spooky VIP membership. And we are back with more haunted dolls, and it's just going to get creepier and creepier, because the one I'm going to talk about is the Shadow Doll. Listeners, prepare yourselves for a journey into the chilling depths of the supernatural as we delve into the spine-tingling story of the Shadow Doll. Unlike other dolls with their innocent and beautiful visages, this cursed creation has a sinister and malevolent appearance, for it was born for a dark and diabolical purpose.
She really is ugly.
This doll is horrifying. Look up pictures, but don't stare at the pictures too long, and I'll explain why. Just glance at them and look away.
It's one of these.
It looks like the doll was made for something dark, and it's made, I'll get into it, but it's made of awful things. The mouth is even open with this weird expression on it. Its eyes are literally like black as black can be. It's
That's
horrible.
scary.
But seriously, don't stare at the pictures for too long. I'll explain why. The tale begins with a ritual steeped in malevolence, where this ghastly figure was brought to life using the most sinister of means. Crafted from human bones, and adorned with teeth and nails of animals, the shadow doll exudes an aura of pure evil, a manifestation of dark forces that should never see the light of day. But what sets this abomination apart is its unique method of spreading terror. This doll was not intended as a gift, nor to bring joy to any recipient or child. No, it was designed for something far more sinister. The creators, shrouded in evil, aimed to send photographs of the shadow doll to those they wished to harm.
And that's why you can't look at
Yes.
photos.
And here lies the dread-filled twist. Anyone who gazed upon the image of the shadow doll would find themselves cursed, condemned to endure a nightmarish fate.
I showed my friends at work this picture. Lauren, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
You're not supposed to send pictures of the shadow doll to anyone.
Lauren, I'm so sorry. She's gonna hate me forever.
I was an asshole to Robert the doll, and now I've looked at the photos of the shadow doll, so I feel like whatever we do, this episode is cursed.
Oh no, I literally had
Hannah,
the pictures
I
up.
hope you're alive for the next episode.
Me too, shit.
I had the picture up on my phone because I knew we were gonna do a haunted
And
doll.
here you are setting the photo of the shadow doll around. It's like,
I'm so traumatized right now.
You had to Google it. You must have seen so many pictures.
I looked at it briefly, and then I looked at the story. I'm like,
Shit.
well, I looked at it briefly, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing. And then I looked at it some more and more and more, and I was really looking at this fucking thing. And then I did the research. I'm like, shit. Well, I'll explain what happened to me after looking at the shadow doll.
Oh my god!
Yes, I'm going to get to that.
Justin has fucked us all, you guys.
Hey, you know what? Jordan was the one who put this one on the list, so she
Oh
fucked
my
us
god,
all.
I feel so bad right now.
And
because
she's sharing around the picture.
I'm
Anyway.
so sorry. Lauren better
Warning.
come in and just be like,
Lauren,
I slept like a baby last night.
You are about to
Nothing happened.
ice my only fan.
I'm so sorry, and I hope your fan survives. Oh my god.
I'm
but
sorry.
seriously, if you're gonna look up pictures of the shadow doll, like, do it because it's really creepy and cool to look at, but just glance at it, put it away, don't save it in tab, close it out. Initially, those who received these haunting images usually like laughed them off as jokes and dismissing it, but as night descended, their laughter gave way to horror. For the shadow doll, this evil specter would infiltrate their dreams, and what unfolded in those dreams was torment so profound that it often came to literally heart-stopping terror.
Oh my
People
God.
have died in their sleep from this doll. They had nightmares so bad that people have died.
But I'm a good dreamer.
Don't stare at it too long.
I'm gonna wake up every half hour tonight. I'm gonna make myself wake up. I can do that.
So you had like good origins of Robert the doll. You had even like rumors of how it got cursed. So there's no real origins around this doll. It's literally shrouded in mystery. Basically, no one knows literally who created it, but they know it was created for sinister purposes. Hence why it's
Okay.
made of human bone, animal bone, and it looks terrifying. So basically, as far back as we know, there was a seller who sold like ancient oddities, that kind of stuff. And, well, people sometimes collect the stuff. So it was passed from collector to collector, and people have literally died along the way. Then a couple saw this in a shop, and they bought it and brought the shadow doll into their home. Then a sinister cloud literally descended upon them. Their first night with this cursed doll was marked by a series of nightmarish visions. The doll emerged in their dreams. It was literally a harbinger of dread. And when they awoke, they found their bodies with like weird scratches and things on them. The second night brought a more sinister revelation, for it was not just scratches that adorned them. It was as if like claw marks of something really evil and demonic had literally scratched across their flesh. And they were literally faced with this terror, and they knew they had to seek help. And this couple was even like, at first, like when they were having these dreams, it took a little bit for them to realize that they were having like the same dream. They were both dreaming about this doll.
That's creepy.
Like very, and they're waking up with these scratches and these deep claw marks, and just it got so bad. Now we enter Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Of course, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
So they were the ones known.
Sorry.
Look, man.
Of course, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Shit.
Look, man. I got a bone to pick with Ed and Lorraine Warren, but I think they're both dead now, so that's not going to happen.
They both have passed. I like them. I know Jordan has something, but look.
Oh my god. We both hate Ed and Lorraine.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You want to know why I hate Ed and Lorraine Warren?
Why?
Okay, because I cannot find this anywhere anymore, but there was an episode of, it might have been A Haunting. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It was, I used to watch that when I got home from school. And I remember it was either that or a documentary on like Ed and Lorraine Warren. And there was a bit in it where Lorraine Warren is being interviewed about something, and like completely unrelated, she starts going off like, I have a fragment of the true cross and no one can see it because you're not believers in the Lord. And she just like went very scary Bilbo about it, you know? Like it was very like, my precious Lord.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was gross, and I thought it was creepy, and I just thought it was like the gross, creepy way that I knew a lot of people being growing up Catholic and just being gross about it.
Yeah, I just,
Gotcha.
in my personal opinion, like I've said on the podcast before, I just think that they, like, everything that they did, I feel like it turned into something famous. And I'm like, okay, you guys don't want any clout, but you guys got clout for doing your stuff.
Well,
you know what I mean?
If you're the first ones kind of doing this, and you're the most known for it, I mean, what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's just like, and he's a demonologist, but he's not, like, recognized by the church as being a demonologist. I don't like when people call themselves demonologists and they're not, like, from the church. Like, I just think that that's weird. I don't know. There's just something about them. I don't hate them. It's great. Kudos to you for helping people out. It's just, I just think that they're just weird. I don't know.
That's fine. Everyone can have their own opinion about them. Whatever.
Just like if Ed and Lorraine Warren showed up at my house, it'd be like, you could get stepping back to where you came from. I can do this by myself at this point. You know, it's just like, if I wanted a demonologist, I'm calling the damn church. If I wanted a psychic medium, I'm going to call somebody else. Yeah. That's just my opinion.
That's fine.
They're
that's
not
fine.
just
but
ghost hunters. They're Catholic ghost hunters.
Then what? They're going to come and help me, and then, like, what? I'll be the next fucking Amityville Horror and whatever movie, and I don't know.
They'll tell me to go to church, and I'll be mad about it, like I'm mad at my mom.
Oh my goodness. But may they rest in peace. They did amazing. Like, their stuff, the things that they brought to light and have stories about is crazy and everything like that.
Yeah, we know a lot about a lot of these places and things because of them. And, but they were literally the only ones at the time that anyone could rely on when there was bad paranormal things happen. So they were the ones to go to for this doll. These people are like, Ed and Lorraine Warren, they told them what happened. They're like, you gotta take this fucking doll from us. We can't have it. The Shadow Doll, even though it's less renowned than Annabelle, was equally, if not more terrifying. Even the presence of it. And they have other demonic and haunted dolls and things like that, but this one looks definitely the most sinister, the most terrifying amongst anything in their collection.
So they have it at the museum?
Yes.
It's still there?
Yes.
Ooh.
It's rumored that merely capturing an image of the doll could bring unspeakable torment to those who dared look into its soulless eyes. The dream it projected was a descent into an abyss of terror, so terrifying that victims either suffered fatal heart attacks or were forever traumatized, left frightened of sleep itself due to the haunting visage of the Shadow Doll. Like, there are people who were afraid to sleep after the nightmares that this thing has brought onto them.
I believe it. I mean, good. I'm happy that it's in the fucking museum. Kudos to you, Ed and Lorraine, for taking the motherfucker away from these people.
If you go to their occult museum, forewarned, don't stare at it too long. If you try to take a picture of it, that's on you. I warned you.
Yeah, don't do it. You're going to be cursing us all like the Ring.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
podcasters are going to look up images of the
Of
shadow
course.
doll.
yeah. Freaking
Do at your own
creepy.
risk. Whispers have circulated that the Shadow Doll is responsible for a series of inexplicable deaths. The Warrens' files, meticulous and chilling, do not offer an explanation for the doll's creation. No one knows who created this doll, where it came from. It just found its way into someone's oddities, antique shops throughout the
I don't
years,
think
and
we
people
need
have
to
collected
know.
it.
I don't think we need to know where it came from.
Yeah,
would
but
have.
they do know that it was used for satanic rituals and a vessel for black magic.
Oh, great.
Hence why, if you take a picture of this thing and send it to people, they're probably going to have nightmares. If you look in its eyes too long, you're going to have nightmares.
I'm gonna have fucking nightmares now.
Yeah.
Just
so,
from this talk. Just from hearing about it.
You know,
As-
My sleep paralysis demon better not fuck with me tonight. That's all I know.
Oh.
Because usually when we talk about like things that like really ick me and creep me out, like my sleep paralysis demon is like, I'm taking advantage.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
So fuck that guy.
So as you enter the Warrens Occult Museum, your gaze may fall upon the Shadow Doll, an inanimate sentinel with a gaping mouth seemingly poised to consume your very soul. Its malevolence, forever bound to its lifeless form, serves as a stark reminder of the unfathomable darkness that lingers in the fringes of our world.
You always take it a step too far with your words, man. Like
Yeah,
it's
Justin
always
paints
like
us a word picture.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
like it literally gives me the goosebumps.
The Shadow Doll is a testament to the enduring power of the macabre and the dark occult. Beware, for even in the silence of night, the Shadow Doll may come for you, and its nightmares may be the last thing you ever experience.
Well, if it is, I love you guys.
Yeah, well,
We did our best.
so I was talking about this. So literally the night after, not the night of, but the night after, I was doing my research on the Shadow Doll. I had a very vivid, I'll call it a nightmare. I don't get scared of things really easily. Like
Yeah.
whatever. I'll go into I'll go into the Warrens Museum. I'll look at this thing right in the eyes. I don't get scared. I'm not. But what happened was, I was having a very vivid nightmare, and it was a post-apocalyptic zombie dream.
Ooh.
Fucking hate zombies.
And things took a bad turn. I'll explain the dream as best I can, as fast as I can. But basically, I was with, I was walking with a female. I don't know who she was. Never seen her before in my life. And we got approved to go to this like safety camp, and we had to walk through like a series of those big like metal storage containers,
Okay.
shipping containers.
Yeah.
And we were walking with our flashlights, and I guess there were patrol people, and they shot the person I was with
Oh, no.
shit.
because I guess they didn't get the message that we were coming, and I was all pissed. I tried to attack them. Since I did that, I couldn't go into the camp, and so I left on my own. And then it like flashed to me trying to survive on my own,
Oh.
and I was like trying to search for food and trying to like stay away from zombies, and like going into like someone's home and they lived there, and I had to like stay away from them, and they were sick and they were about to become a zombie. But all the zombies had the same kind of face and facial expression as the doll.
Oh.
That
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
happened. So I literally saw this doll's face on these zombies.
Yeah, because she has like colors on her face too.
And
if
it's
a
just
she.
her
I don't even
facial
know if it's a
expression
she.
is very memorable,
Yeah.
you know, and it was the same face on all of these zombies that
That's
I encountered.
fucking
So it was a
scary.
very weird nightmare to have involving this doll. So forewarned, don't stare at any
I'm
pictures of
fucked.
her for too long.
I'm fucked. Like, I'm royally fucked.
I hope
Like,
Lauren's
I know. Lauren, I'm so sad. I even showed my really good friend Michelle,
Oh.
and she's such a sweet lady. If something happens to Michelle, I will literally never forget myself. She's like,
Let us know how the next
cutest person
podcast
alive.
episode. You need to give us an update on
Yeah.
if they're okay.
Yeah.
I will let you know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
And-
shit to them. I'm gonna let them tell me if something happened, because I want to know. Like, God forbid, I say like, "Oh my God, sorry guys, I showed you the picture. You're gonna be haunted
then
by
they
this
have a
fucking
dream.
doll," and then they have a dream after. I want to see if anything happens to them before they know.
Like, because there was a point in time where people would take pictures of this doll and send it to people they didn't like,
Oh my
just to give them nightmares,
oh my
just
God.
to harm them.
Well,
Yeah.
I like my friends. I didn't do
know.
it. I didn't
You didn't
do
do
it
it on purpose?
maliciously.
No.
I left it up in my tabs for months.
Jesus.
Because I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to do a Haunted Dolls Part 2. I got to make sure I get all my dolls. And that was the doll I was going to do.
Then he passed her on to me.
Sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know the full details of all of this shit.
Anyway, forewarned, if you look up pictures of her, just don't stare at them too long. Don't gaze into her black eyes. Just look at it, close it out.
Yeah.
But let's move on to our next haunted doll. Hannah,
Okay.
take it away.
All right. I feel like, so I did Lily the doll, and I feel like this is by far the least sinister
Okay.
of all of the haunted dolls that we've talked about
Well,
today.
thank fuck.
Yeah.
Because I've about had it.
Yeah, like you guys both picked some really like serious dark ones with some like real bad vibes. But mine is just kind of like, I picked the lackluster one and I was funny about it because I think that haunted dolls are bullshit. Like in general, I've never been like a Chucky person and I've never been like an Annabelle person. And that shit just does not scare me because I'm like, look, if a haunted doll is coming at me, I don't care if it's got a butcher knife or not. It's like 4 feet tall and I am going to punt that son of a bitch.
Or if you moved into a house and found this creepy doll, you'd get rid of the freaking creepy
Oh
doll.
yeah, I'd just be like, ew, this is going into the dumpster. Like,
My
Yeah.
thing is if I found it, I would leave it there. I wouldn't even like bring it into my like life. Like if I would have found Robert the doll locked up in the attic, he's going back locked up, and you know I'm not even gonna like do anything about it. Then if Robert comes after me, I'm fucking dipping.
Or do what the guy did with the Elsa doll and chain that bitch up.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Oh my
about the Elsa
God.
doll.
It just, yeah, man, that thing, it would be going right into a dumpster. I wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, I'm not scared of dolls. I have a friend who is very scared of dolls.
They're creepy.
I
but-
don't think so. I do not think so. I have never been afraid of dolls.
Lucky
I used
you.
to, dude,
Scared
I
of
used to
them.
go to, like, flea markets as a kid and, like, pick up the most, like, destroyed, nasty, sitting at the bottom of the toilet
Oh my
looking ass doll
God.
that they had there. And I'm like, I have to bring it home because no one else will love it, you know? Like, I've just never been afraid of dolls.
Yeah.
Because I was of the Toy Story kind of state of mind.
Yeah.
Where, like, if nobody loves it, it will be lonely. So maybe that means the doll would get me. Maybe that would be how I got by
Maybe.
the fucking
Yeah.
doll.
How I got
I don't know. But, I guess with a haunted doll, to be fair to other people who are scared of dolls, like, the scary thing isn't the doll itself, it's the ghost, demon, portal, whatever you got living inside its little cloth body. So I looked up Lily. I picked her off the list at random because we have a list of haunted dolls. Now you know this.
We ed a bunch of them.
But I picked Lily and I was like, oh, that's a cute little name. We'll see this. And I Googled it straight off, and the first result that came up was Zach Baggins' Facebook page. And I'm like, oh no,
Oh, God.
Zach Baggins is involved. So this shit is about to get wild. So doing my research, basically like 2 paragraphs on this doll exist, and both of those paragraphs are on Zach Baggins' Facebook page.
Does he have the doll in his museum?
Yeah, he owns
Okay.
it. He bought the doll a couple of years ago for his paranormal museum in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So she's now an exhibit. She's Zach Baggins' very own pet haunted doll. It kind of seems like after reading the comments on his Facebook post that Lily was like a local thing, like a kind of a local folklore thing,
okay.
or like a local story people knew about.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool and charming, and it like makes me feel a little bit better about like having done my research on Facebook. But before we get into that, I'm gonna describe Lily to you because she's like, I think it's kind of. She's not going to curse you if you look up her picture, so
Right.
you can like
It's
you
not
can
the
Google
shadow doll,
Lily.
but, yeah.
You're safe.
I looked up Lily too.
Yeah, but she's housed in this glass cabinet, which is kind of framed in this very drippy whitewashed wood. She's a baby doll. She's made of porcelain with probably a soft cloth body under a pale pink and white striped dress that goes all the way down to her toes. She has kind of the typical baby doll face with the chubby cheeks and the little upturned adorable button
Yeah,
nose.
she does have a very cute face.
Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah.
And she's very, very pale white, and the paint or enamel of her skin is like distressed. It's cracked and chipped, and underneath you can see that she's got like a dark base coat under there. Also, she has no eyes.
Yeah,
well, that helps bring the creepiness. I mean,
yeah.
Like when you get closer, she gets creepier as you. Like at first, you're just like, oh, you know, long black hair,
so
cute little like
it's
face.
just like
there's empty sockets.
And then as soon as you go closer, you're scared shitless because there's cracks and no eyes, and you're just like, what the fuck?
But yeah, she's. It looks like she at one point had some eyeballs in there, like the little glass doll's eyes, but they popped out, and now she is eyeless. And the most noticeable thing about Lily, other than the eyeballs or lack thereof, is this listless hank of long brown hair glued to her head.
No.
And like for a baby, that's a lot of hair. But it's still in these two little curly pigtails that are holding in her dusty glass case. Attached is a sticker that reads, "Haunted composite doll. For your own safety, do not touch." And underneath that, in quotes, it says Lily, which is her name. It looks like the shop had priced her for a little bit under $600, which is like, honestly, not that bad.
For like a famous doll?
Yeah,
I mean,
like
people are out there buying fucking haunted dolls on Etsy.
Yeah, dude. Like, I couldn't afford it, but like somebody who's into that shit could feasibly just like go out.
Some people are very bizarre. Very bizarre people in this world. In this world.
And the person who did purchase Lily was Zach Baggins. She is currently on display in his Las Vegas museum. And the story goes behind... I keep wanting to call her Holly, dude. It's so bad. The story behind Lily is that she was discovered by the owner of Engelberg Antiques of downtown Salem, Oregon, in an old chest that he had presumably bought to sell at his shop. As an antiques dealer, he was able to discern that Lily is a doll made in Germany in the 1800s.
Germany gave us haunted dolls, damn.
Yeah, they did.
Right?
Oh,
manufacturing, I suppose a lot of toys were made in Germany. And another thing about Lily is that she has real human hair.
Oh, come on.
There it is.
That's how this shit happens.
Well,
there you go.
Stop putting body parts on freaking dolls.
Oh yeah, that is like a body part thing. I don't really think of hair as a body part. But like...
No, but I mean, it's part of someone's body at some point.
Yeah, it grew out of a person. It was made by a person's body.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's gross. Now I gave myself the ick.
We talked about, I forget which episode it was. We talked about the Victorian era a lot, and they used to make like necklaces and braids out of like
the Victorian hair work stuff.
Yeah, about from a dead one's body, and they used to use the hair to make braided like necklaces and things like that, right? Jewelry.
Yeah, that's true. I brought that up too.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about hair work. So I guess in my brain it's like not weird, even though it's weird. Yeah. It's weird. I know it's weird.
People today, like, we still donate our hair to people that can't
but
grow
that's
hair.
for a nice purpose.
Yeah.
But like, it's not off a
like,
dead person's body, and you're making
like,
jewelry out of it, putting on a fucking doll.
I know, but some people don't think of that as being weird, giving your hair, to a doll or using it. But like, I mean, if you found like a dead person on the street, you cut off their hair and you put it on a doll. No shit, it's fucking even more scary.
That is weird and unacceptable.
Yeah, like you don't do that.
So who knows whose hair is on there? It could have been an evil, weird person or something.
Yeah,
who knows?
You don't know.
Okay, so yeah, she has the real hair. And this man who owned the store, he knew this, I guess, after, discovering her. And he still takes this doll home and, like, puts it in his house.
Oh, God.
Why do they do that? Why?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Because I'd just be like, this doll is patently creepy. I'm not going to bring it in front of, like, my dog.
Yeah.
Once this man brought Lily into his home, he immediately started having nightmares about a little girl who had been in a very bad accident. So there we go. We're kind of getting into the...
Yeah, now the doll's bringing nightmares onto a person.
We've got nightmares like the Doll of the Shadows. We've got like being imbued with personhood by the spirit of a child.
Yeah.
Like we got Robert the Doll. So we got it's your quintessential haunted doll kind of story. Although the thing that kind of ticks me off further about this guy is that he's like, oh, I can't tell you the details of the dream. They're too disturbing to tell.
I hate that because it's like, if you're going to experience something like this and you want to tell people about it, give it to us.
Yeah,
Don't hold
man.
back. Like, you have
that
no
just makes
idea.
you look sketch.
You have no idea what I find disturbing. I probably won't find the story disturbing. I've seen my fair share of shit.
We are
and
here to
experienced
know.
it. Yeah.
We are here to know the
Why
disturbing.
even bring it up if you're not going to tell?
Yeah, man.
Such a tease.
Just tell me the disturbing things. After he had enough of those disturbing dreams, he put the doll for sale in his shop with disclaimer. Employees and patrons alike have reported electrical anomalies at the store since Lily's arrival. The comments on Zach Baggins' Facebook post have also alleged that floating around somewhere there's a video of a crucifix that was placed on top of Lily's cabinet being flung across the room.
Oh, shit.
And I did look for that, but I couldn't find it, so that, may not be a thing. Another story goes that there was a little girl visiting the antique shop with her parents, and this little girl notices Lily sitting in her cabinet and starts to have a conversation with her like she would a fellow child, and she ends up speaking to the doll for 3 hours.
Who leaves our
Jesus.
kids standing there
3
talking to the
hours?
doll
Yeah.
for 3 hours? I'd
I'd
be
be
like,
like,
kid, get the hell out. We
Look,
gotta
man,
go.
Can't have a
Yeah, I got
conversation with anyone
stuff
for
to
3
do. But after this ended, she informed the staff that Lily is inhabited by the spirit of a girl who died by extreme violence, which checks with
that guy's dream.
Accident thing,
Yeah. He could, I guess violence doesn't have to be inflicted by another person. It could be, just a violent death in general. But those are really the only stories going on at the antique store, because I guess he didn't have her that long before Zach snapped her up. But after Zach acquired her, usually, I'm sure she's still behind glass in the museum. I'm sure you can't go up and grab her.
I'm sure she's delicate too.
Yeah, like from 1800s, human hair is going to crack off. It's going to be bad. You're going to break the doll. But an older woman had to physically touch Lily to remove her from her case. It was supervised. She was allowed to be doing this. But it's reported that she became very flushed and panicked, repeating, "I must wash my hands. I must wash my hands," over and over. And then she was struck with horrible pain in her stomach.
Yeah.
So don't touch Lily.
Don't be rude to Robert. Don't look at or take pictures of the shadow doll. And don't touch Lily.
Yep, there you go. All the dolls have their little sets of rules. And do not transgress. Zach Baggins claims to feel immense energy emanating from Lily.
Zach Baggins feels all types of
He's,
energy.
he's very dramatic.
Yeah.
Zach, if you ever hear this, the first season of Ghost Adventures is partly why I was so interested in doing what I do now. But you've gotten a little dramatic throughout the years.
Their episodes were so good, and then now, I just watched because I still watch
the first 5 seasons.
Their
Amazing.
newest episode. It's just like they walk into a place and you're like, oh, you feel that. Okay, well, where's your EVPs that we wanted and we got before? Where's all the cool stuff that you guys used to do? Now it's just this cold spot, this energy, this, that.
Yeah, you feel an energy. What does that mean?
It does nothing for the viewers.
So we don't feel that. We want to hear and see other things.
Yeah.
Scare me. But that's Lily the doll, owned by Zach Baggins, found in a chest. Don't touch her.
Interesting.
I don't know. These haunted museums, the occult museum that has Zach Baggins shits all this scary stuff. I don't know.
You're just begging for people to freaking
you gotta sign waivers to go into these places.
Haunted,
That's scary enough.
Yeah.
Because people at Zach Baggins freaking museum sign waivers because people have literally fainted and had crazy ass things happen to them, and they're like, I'll pass.
It's like Post Malone sat in the ghost chair at the Zach Baggins Museum, and then he got in a plane crash and his house was broken into.
Yep.
So
I don't. I'm good.
Yeah.
I got enough problems. I don't need more.
Yeah, I know.
I don't need a fucking ghost.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
That's it.
And I'm good at not fucking around and finding out. I'm good.
Yeah, I'd prefer to not.
My space
have
and my
life
peace.
ruined.
Yeah.
That's another cool haunted doll, and these stories have been so cool and traumatic for some, obviously. but the amount of terror that revolves around all these dolls is just absolutely insane. And like I said, we still have a list of more haunted dolls, so more are definitely yet to come.
It's coming.
Who knows how many haunted dolls episodes we're going to have on this podcast.
Yeah. And if anybody wants one specific, they can reach
let
out
us
to
know.
us.
Yeah,
and let
write
us
us
know.
in.
If you know of others, just let us know. If there's ones that you didn't hear yet and you want it on our list, it might already be on our list, but just let us know. I want
Or
to take
if you
our
listen
fans.
to this episode and you have anything weird happen to you, write in a fan story.
Ooh,
That too. But yeah, I want to take our fans' stories and requests very seriously. Speaking of, it is time for the spooky fan story part of the podcast.
It is.
This is one I can't wait to share with everyone. Ghost Encounters got tagged on Instagram a while ago on a video that someone made and posted on their Instagram, and I looked at it and it was very cool. It's a very cool short video, very well done. And I commented on it. I said thanks.
really cool.
Thanks for the video. She literally made the video because she listened to the episode of our podcast where we talked about the Crown of the Catskills. That was your story.
That was.
And she made this little short, and it was awesome. So, Cass, this is a shout out to you. Thank you so much for making that video. It's so cool. Maybe I'll share it on our stories a couple times, and so when people listen to the podcast, they go onto our story and watch it.
Yeah, I think it's really cute that she was like, my favorite episodes are this and that, and I made a spooky short film of Cronin
Yeah,
Catskill.
she was a
It's
pleasure
like, she
to
was so cute.
talk to on
Truly.
Instagram. So shout out to Cass. Thanks for sending in the spooky fan story. It's cool. Thanks for making that short video. It's really cool. I know Hannah's happy because it's
We
about the Crown of the
appreciate
Catskills.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's
yeah.
great. It's an honor to inspire.
Yeah. So nice work. And Jordan, take it away with... Oh yeah, I wanted to mention that her favorite episodes were Haunted Dolls and particularly Haunted Islands. She loved
The Island of the Dolls.
the Island of the Dolls in Mexico because she's from Mexico, and cool place close to home that we talked about and very creepy. So
I think it's badass that we have like somebody from Mexico that listens.
yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
All right, ready for me to take over?
Jordan, take it away.
All right. Hello guys, this is my spooky fan story. It's kind of long, but I promise it's worth it. I'm from Mexico and I live here, but in 1978, way before I existed, my mom was living with her brother, my uncle, in Lake Braddock, Virginia. My aunt and uncle had just had their first child and had decorated the room for him, but when he was born and they brought him home, he would cry upon entering the room nonstop. So they gave him my mom's room and she slept in the baby's room. The first encounter she had, she said she felt like somebody sat on the border of her bed. She felt it, but never saw it. Then a few days later, she felt someone lay down, in all capitals, next to her again. She didn't turn, but she felt it.
Ooh.
Then a few days later, she feels something on top of her and choking her.
Oh shit.
Nope.
Also
So
in
this
all
is like,
capitals.
Nope.
remember we talked about something similar to this in the dreams episode when we we're talking about like sleep paralysis and stuff, but usually that's like
Old hag.
you'll
Yeah.
see someone at the foot of your bed or you're automatically feels like someone's on your chest. So it's weird, like this entity
Seems
haunting
like it's
this place.
causing harm.
It was like
Wants to harm.
further away, then it got closer and closer to the point where it's literally on top of her
Yeah.
choking her. That's crazy.
Maybe it's like pissed that like you weren't paying attention, like
Who
because it
knows?
was
Yeah.
doing stuff to like kind of antagonize, and then
Yeah.
you were just ignoring it, and then boom, now you're getting choked.
Escalation.
In Mexico, we call it. She has Spanish in quotes, but I'm not really that good at speaking it. So Hannah,
It looks like Se te sube el muerto.
oh, good job. Okay, it would be translated to something like the dead rises on you, like they lay on top of you and you can't breathe. It's a form of sleep paralysis, which is funny because you just said
Right.
that. But she never had the usual visions that are reported around the world.
Like she's not seeing anything, and she probably never had sleep paralysis before this. Otherwise, she would have known what the hell this was.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. A few days later, she found out my grandma was having serious financial problems, so she sent her the money that she needed. The encounters stopped after that. Until my uncle and aunt's second baby was born, my mom was back in Mexico by then, but my cousin says she woke up one night thirsty and called for my aunt to bring her some water when she saw the corner of her bed sink down, like someone was sitting there, exactly like my mom felt years before.
Shit.
To be honest, I'm not sure if she had any more encounters after that, and they later moved out of there, and there were no more encounters like that one. But what I find weird is that this entity stopped bothering my mom after she found out about my grandma. She has a theory that maybe the entity wanted to warn her, but then why would it present itself again with my cousin? Would love your intake on the subject. What do you think, Justin?
Honestly, I have no idea. I mean, it sounds malevolent if it's going to be
Hurting.
choking you.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know why it would stop after you help your grandmother out with financial stuff. Is your grandma performing some kind of dark magic or something? And is like...
Yeah, like how else would...
I have no idea. I've never heard of anything like this. Usually, these things are going to be there.
Do you think maybe they got, like I said, maybe got pissed because they weren't, like, acknowledging them, and then they were like, I'm trying to fucking tell you something, bitch. Like, listen to me, you know? Like,
yeah.
Just felt like it had to do the choking thing. Like, listen to me. You know, like what I want to do to people on the regular basis.
I would like to know if, like... Because it seems like there weren't many encounters like this. If it was like the same date that your mother and the other person experienced the same thing sitting at the bed.
Yeah.
If there's some kind of, date that has to do with someone who may have died in the house a long time ago or something like that.
Because she said she moved out of there and there were no encounters like that one. So like, was it just like something that was happening at the house and they
that kind of indicates that it could be connected to the property.
Yeah,
person.
You're right.
Yeah, I wouldn't know unless we heard a little bit more or did something digging ourselves. But it's very strange.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that it didn't choke your mom seriously.
Yeah. She says that I have many more paranormal stories. My whole family on both sides are very sensitive and we've encountered many things. Maybe I'll send others. Sending you much love from Mexico. Stay spooky.
I love to stay spooky.
Well, I would love to hear as many stories as you're willing to give me.
Send in as many spooky fan stories as you have, and thank you for this one. It's very cool. It's creepy. I love that you love the Haunted Dolls and Haunted Islands episodes. So cool.
Yeah.
I love that she loved the Crone of the Catskills because that's like one of my favorite stories. Because even though I think haunted dolls are bullshit, the Crone of the Catskills really scares me.
It does scare you. You've talked about that for a while,
and
I love that little short that she made.
And I never heard of that until you came on the podcast and talked about it.
I love it.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again, and please send more spooky fan stories. Everyone that's listening. We want your spooky fan stories.
All of them.
We need more. I want to hear from you what you have encountered. Even if it's not you, like this, she didn't experience this. This was in her family. So if you have a family member or a friend that experienced something, send their story in.
And you obviously, don't even have to use them, like you don't have to say like it was my aunt, it was my cousin, it was my best friend from high school. You could just say, I heard this story once, this is what this person went through.
You can always remain anonymous. They can remain anonymous. Names can be left out.
Yep.
It's all up to you guys. But thank you all so much for listening. Those of you who are listening, please give us 5 stars, share the podcast around. And I know there's an ad for it, but if you want ad-free stuff and bonus stuff, again, go to our Patreon, sign up. It's only $6 a month. You get ad-free episodes, bonus episodes, like the Halloween episode. You get that full episode.
Maybe we could put on exclusive merch just for this episode, like a Haunted
We
Dolls
could do
merch.
Ooh,
That
only
our Patreon people
I
can.
already have a graphic made.
Ooh.
Yes, so
Okay.
don't you worry. It's only going to be for Patreon people. So
Only Patreon.
And you get a discount on merch if you're on Patreon, so it helps with that too. So it's definitely worth it. It's only $6 for the month. And it would really help us out too. We want to give you great content, and in order to do that, we, need financial help in order to do that. And that financial stuff would help. Helps us give you better content, upgrade stuff, gives you more. We can do more stuff. So, yeah, definitely check it out. It's definitely worth it. And again, if anyone has any suggestions for episodes, a fan gave us a suggestion of something that he wanted to hear. So we're actually going to take that to heart, and we're going to do that for our next episode. I won't tell you what that is just yet. We even are bringing in an expert, a literal expert on the subject.
Because this person told us to do this said topic.
Yeah, so I want to take our fans'
seriously.
request seriously.
We're a big spooky family here.
Yes. Exactly. A big spooky family.
Aw, that's so cute. That should be a shirt.
Again, thank you all so much for listening. Stay spooky.
And leave the haunted dolls the fuck alone.
Robert the doll, don't come for me.
Robert the doll, leave me the fuck alone. Goodbye, Robert. I'm so sorry.
Bye, Robert. Oh my God, we forgot to say goodbye to Robert.
Goodbye, Robert.